Hi, junkjournaling friends. This is Lauren with Shabby Chic Sunday. This is my August design team project for Shabby Art Boutique using the Magic Forest Faes digital kit for the craft room. I want to explain the story of this journal first. I thought of this journal as a sequel to my Teapot Fairies journal that I did almost a year ago. I believe it was last September, and I wanted Brooklyn's story to stem from that first adventure. So, my story for this journal is that Brooklyn has grown up a little bit since finding the Teapot Fairies, and her inquisitiveness and her magical wonder and curiosity about fairies has only increased since her last discovery, especially since she finds a handwritten note from her mom and a blurry photo of a possible woodland fairy. So I envisioned her drawing herself a map based on information from books she's read. She creates her own little packing list and she packs her bag for her trip to discover some woodland fairies. On her trip, she learns a lot. She takes notes on note cards, which I've then distressed to make it look like they've been stuffed into either her bag or her notebook or even her pockets. And she bags and she labels specimens and artifacts that she finds on her way. And that is what is enclosed in this Woodland Phase journal. So now that you know the story, let me explain the cover, which is actually a double cover, and I'm going to show you how I made that in just a moment. I wanted this journal to be accessible for journaling, but also to showcase the whimsy and the magic that a Forest Fae journal deserves. So on the cover, I wanted this obviously to be durable and to last for many years to come. So every single element that I have cut out from Carrie Ann's kit has been dipped into resin and then sprinkled with diamond dust and then put under the UV lamp. So all of these elements are rock hard. It's impossible to break off and it'll last for a long time. And so there's a lot of mushrooms on here, and I particularly used a lot of those green moths because I thought that they accented really, really well with the pale colored flowers and the mushrooms. And there's a little fairy here poking out the side. The door is obviously the main showcase piece. These are some dried leaves from my yard, and I just misted them with a really pale powder so that I took away, the dark, dark green a little bit, and it just kind of has a slight muted color to it. And there's a forest fae at the top, and she's flying around. This corner here, I tried to rip as much, as many different layers of the book that I used as I could. And then I put Mod Podge on them so that they would dry and harden. And I also used texture paste to kind of give it another effect, and then sprinkled it in glitter. And I wanted it to look like it was aged. And then there's mushrooms, little toadstools and moss and some flowers that are now beginning to grow and, take over as wild things do. And so that is the cardboard pieces of the book that I used. Okay, so for the cover then, this is what I mean when I say it's a double cover. This part pops right off. And so then you can actually utilize the journal. You can lay it flat so that you can write on it or work in it. And then you could post this to the side even as decoration. So this is just magnetized. If you flip it over and look at the back, I wanted to leave this open so I could show you. These are all just a whole bunch of magnets. And then underneath the cover, hidden by the fabric, are all the other matching magnets. So it pops right on. And then you have this here, which is nice and flat and blank, so that the journal will lay flat, as flat as possible, because you do have this part over here. But this is rock hard, so there is no way to bend this. For the spine, I have a really large ribbon tassel here with matching sage green colors. And then I made a really, really large chunky charm tassel. This is actually quite heavy. I had more charms that I wanted to include that I thought matched the theme really well, but I had to take them off because the weight of this, I was worried, for one, for shipping, and also just for pulling down on the spine of the journal. So There are some specimen jars that Brooklyn has attached here. She gathered some morning dew from some of the flowers and the mushrooms and the tall grass pieces as she was on her adventure. There's some of these really pale pink leaves, mushrooms, a whole bunch of different types of mushrooms, matching acorns. Let's see what else. There's some fairies. And so this is removable. And it's just attached by a lobster clip. Let's see if I can get that off. And so you could take that off just from the lobster hook at the top, and we'll set that aside. And so here's your ribbon tassel spine. And then the back is just that matching sage fabric. Okay, so let's go ahead and open her up. So here is how our story begins. Brooklyn finds a little envelope, and inside is my note to her, and it says, "Dearest daughter, don't be afraid to look for the magic everywhere." And so this tucks right in like this. She also discovers a Polaroid photo of a possible woodland fairy. And I think it's probably a little too hard for you to tell on here, but I took one of the elements from Carrie Ann's kit and I uploaded it into Canva, and then I blurred the image. And so part of her face is blurred out. It's not a really clear and crisp picture. And I did that so that there was some question, like, is that a fae? What is that? Is that a butterfly? And so it leaves a little bit to the imagination. So this is just blurred out. And so Brooklyn finds this along with the little letter and envelope from her mom, and her interest is piqued once again. So she creates a little packing list for herself. This paper here is one of the journaling pages from the kit, and I just sized it down to fit my needs, and then I typed on it to make it look like her handwriting. And so this is her packing list of everything that she thinks that she needs to head off into the forest and find those forest faes. The other thing that is right in the front, this is again, same thing, I sized it down just to fit my own needs. These are all the notes that Brooklyn has taken in her exploration and discovery of perusing through, you know, encyclopedias or the internet and finding everything she needs to know about faes. And so it's just attached by a little brad so she can peruse through her notes really quickly. And I have just typed out in what I would think to be her cute, adorable handwriting, her notes about definitions of faes and where do they come from, how do they originate, and all the different types, because there's so many types of faes and so many magical creatures that she's going to possibly encounter. So she needed to study up and learn about them. And then the last page is her notes about places to look. So her first place she's going to explore is Grandma's backyard. So this just tucks in right here, and this fold out paper keeps it nice and safe. Her map that she has drawn for herself is right here. And this is where she thinks that she'll be able to find all the different types of magical forest faes and different creatures that live in the woods. And then I just did a really quick, easy tutorial showing you how you could include pressed flowers in your journal. So this is one that I made, and it's just a little Queen Anne's lace, and I attached it with washi tape, and then I just sewed around it. So that tucks in right here. And then I think the first thing that I will show you before we go into the journal then are some of the specimens that Brooklyn has collected. So I have a pocket here, and this is just tulle that I have sewn on to the fabric, and then I've attached this here as well, this netting, so you could tuck something right into this netting if you would like as well. So the first thing in here, look at these beautiful images. These I thought were like her photographs that she was able to take of the woodland fairies when she found them in the forest. And here are some of her artifacts and her specimens that she has collected. So in the kit, there are these tiny little tags, and I sized them down to be able to fit my specimen bags. and I typed on here evidence card. So I listed the item, how many, the color, the texture, and then the location of where Brooklyn found these. So here are some daisies that she found, and she put that she has 5 daisies collected and her location. And Brooklyn has also found a book and a pencil, and it says 2 pieces here, but she needs to relog that because she also added some little Fae playing cards, and then there is a magic little scroll in here with a note from a Fae. So she's going to have to relog this evidence card. Here is an evidence card that she still needs to fill out. I took a little leaf from my yard. I covered it in resin and glitter, and then there is a little secret note inside. So she found that. She'll need to log that. And then she found part of a fairy's wing. And let's see what else is in here. This evidence card, she found a piece of tree bark, and it's got a little bit of a shimmer to it, which is why she logged it, because she thinks that this is going to be evidence that there were fays possibly building a house near this tree where she found the piece of bark. And her last evidence card is 4 count pieces of tools. So she found some tools that she thinks that the fays might have been using. So she's logged those. So all of her specimens are here in the front pocket. And I have a pocket on the back side as well. It's the same thing. The only difference is that I peeled back the corner. Let's see if I can pull that out, so that I could show some of the paper here hidden behind. And then those tuck in here just as so. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and set this to music as I go through the rest of the journal. And if you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear them. And I will see you all very soon. Take care. Enjoy.